G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we are on Gorge to watch two of the world's best players face off mono-y-mono in a ranked ladder game. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an interesting start. Take a look at what we've got over here for our Sengoku Daimyo. We have got a gold start happening, and this is kind of weird. I have not seen this before. Normally we see a wood start. What is the go with this? Surely he's not. Is he just going to go mass traders? Is that what we're going to see? Are we going to see something silly like that? Why else would you do it? You know, I've been testing with just sending out 2 villagers to gold early on just to grab 20 gold. Oh, he's got to buy wood. I love it. Oh my God, that's so smart, dude. Immediately gets the Yatai in queue. Is this right here what makes the Sengoku Daimyo potentially viable? Look, not to say that they're not viable. Okay, hold on. Let's introduce our players, then we'll talk about whether or not they're viable. Look how early this Yatai is out. Before 55 seconds. I love it. I love it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, sporting in the northeast of the map in the color purple, playing as the Sengoku Daimyo, the Japanese variant. It's our Chinese friend. And on the south side of the map in the color red, playing as the Macedonian Dynasty, the Byzantine variant. It's Vortex. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a caster game. If you're enjoying this caster game, and undoubtedly you will continue to enjoy it because it's going to be great, look at the opening that we've got here. Well, make sure you hit that like button down below. It really helps out with the traction of the videos. Now, let's talk a little bit about what we got going on here. This was super smart. So, one of the issues that you've got with the Sengoku Daimyo, at least this is what I've found. People tend to be aggressive against you. They know what the game plan is. They know that you're going to get your Matsuri out. They know you're going to train a Yatai, and they want to get it away from wherever it should be. And it should be over on the boar here, so it's getting its maximum value. 60 food per minute in the early game, which is massive, equivalent to 1.5 villages. So very, very nice. However, the consequence of having that out is that you're just a little bit, what's the word? A little bit vulnerable. Let's put it that way. So I was testing with different openings. I was putting 5 vills on wood, 1 villager on the getting up the Matsuri, and then you'd get the Yatai out. But you know, it was difficult to make that work. The fact that we've got this Matsuri rush is kind of wild, and this really changes the game. I want to see exactly how fast of an age up we can see here from our Chinese friend, because it might not seem like much, but if you can get this Yatai out slightly faster, it makes a massive difference, because if the Yatai's out slightly faster, it means that you can have less villagers on food earlier, which means that you can have more villagers on wood, which means your second Yatai's coming out faster. And therefore, if your second Yatai is coming out faster, obviously, like, it just kind of snowballs, right? So we'll keep an eye out on what the actual timings are and whether or not he's going to be going for that third. It doesn't look like he is. I think he might have just settled on the 2 for the moment, though he's only 35 wood away from it. Anyway, let's get down on the other side of the map. Let's check in with Vortex and see how he's doing, because he's currently ranked #1 on the ladder and will be looking to find an uphill battle today against this brand new Sengoku Daimyo opening. So I'm very impressed. Now, this is something that we've seen. We actually see this in quite a lot in Age of Empires 3. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Did he buy wood again? Is bro just buying wood? Holy moly, bro's buying wood. Why not? At the end of the day, why not? Like, if you think about it, right, you're going to have to put the Matsuri down on a wood line or put it down on a gold line. You're going to have to put it down on a specific resource. So if you can put it down, I don't like the positioning on this. It's a bit awkward, but he kind of, you know, like, it's probably the best that he can hook everything up with, right? Like, you got a bit of walking time on the gold, but at the end of the day, it's working for him. Look at this timing. This is not a bad timing at all by any means. So I think we're going to have to walk away. We're going to have to study this opening a little bit more, because we may have just found the secret source to the Sengoku Daimyo's strategies. Koka Township now going to be coming up for him as well. Apologizes if I'm focusing a lot on him. I always get, I don't know if enamored is the right word, but I get very excited when I see new openings like that, because that's really creative. So yeah, what I was going to say is we see that a lot in Age of Empires 3. So often in Age of Empires 3, players will open up with a market and they will do a little bit of market resource trading, because you can actually make that in Age 1. Obviously, in Age of Empires 4, you can't do that. The only exception here being the Sengoku Daimyo. So why the hell not? Age of Empires 3 is indeed slowly coming to Age of Empires 4. Anyway, 4 vills on the age up here. So not the fastest of age ups, but it's still going to be a competitive timing. I'm very curious to actually go in and test it right now. It's funny how these things sort of happen. Anyway, we'll check in with Vortex and see how he is doing. First of the horsemen is out, looking to put some pressure on. He spots the Yatai towards the north of the map. The champion scout comes out. I suspect he's not going to be going into professional scouts today. Normally, I feel like if you're going professional scouts, you have to go for the Grand Winery, though. I'll be real with you, Professional Scouts does not feel as good as it used to, which is a good thing, right? Because it always felt amazing. But now it just kind of feels bad because, like, pulling these deer in to a grand winery that would be, like, over on your berries here, you're going to lose at least, like, 50 to 75 food, which might not seem like much, but it's a huge amount, dude. Like, you're talking down to 275 food on each one of these deer. When, like, the reality is you could just come out here, like he's doing, and then not have to deal with that decay. So you're kind of hurting yourself in a way. Of course, you can deny food from your enemy, but every second that those carcasses are on the back of a scout, they're losing out on that, on that very important food. Meanwhile, up towards the top side, it looks like the scout has been caught in the trees here. Vortex doing a good job. I'm just going to make sure I turn down. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like the in-game sound's a little bit too loud, so I've just turned it down. Spearman now going to be coming out as well from our Sengoku player, warding off the enemy. Nice tight base building coming out here. You can see quite a lot of things in the queue here. This is the consequence of having all of these Yatai out. Now, how many Yatai does he have in total here? Not enough resources. So we see he's got, I can see the 2. I don't know whether or not we saw the 3rd one. I thought I saw the 3rd one, but maybe I'm crazy. I could, no, there is a 3rd one. There's the 3rd one right there. It's grabbing the deer, and this one is grabbing the boar. So that's essentially where he's at. We got the shinobi now coming out as well. So he did open with 3 Yatai, I can confirm. I thought I saw it. Anyway, we got ourselves a double melee opening. Definitely my favorite opening. I think it makes the most sense. You can really sort of stick with that spearman, horseman opening for quite some time. Obviously, the biggest trouble that you're going to have is if the enemy decides to throw down their own barracks, and then it means that they're going to be getting out spears, or in this case, at Gurmidit. I think I pronounced that correctly, at Gurmidit. We'll double check whether or not that happens, though. But yes, it becomes a little bit of a combo breaker if they've got, like, archer and spear, and now all of a sudden, what do? Well, you got to go into archers yourself, which can be a bit awkward. Second stable going to be coming down. I'm also a big fan of this. I think this definitely makes a lot of sense because typically you're going to be opening up with quite a few spears, so moving into that second stable definitely helps you out. Varangian Stronghold now going to be going down on the south side for Vortex. We're right on board with him as he continues to put on pressure towards this gold vein. Outpost not quite up yet. You can see the awkward positioning of his landmark somewhat hurts him, our Chinese friend. But at the same time, maybe it hinders his opponent as well. And continuing to work the magic. Spears coming in. The Yatai probably needs to be moved back. It's starting to lose a little bit of health. Now, one thing I found out the hard way is you can actually repair Yatai with your villagers. So that's an interesting mechanic. I didn't realize until I was like, why is this Yatai not dying? And the villager hides underneath it, dude. You can't click the villager. You got to like full turn the camera around and be like, kill that villager, because otherwise he will he will remain hidden. Anyway, let's check in and see how our Chinese friend is doing for the moment, see what direction he looks to be playing. I will just note right now, the drink of the day is cordial, which is like a... I mean, you probably got cordial, right? That's what the drink of the day is. We're standing up, and when I stand, I raise the monitor up a bit, and it's a bit hard for me to see up towards the top side here. The monitor's not overly large. It's just, I guess, just because it's a little bit higher than what I'm used to. I guess that's probably why. Anyway... We got a nice slow coming in right now from the Shinobi. Beautiful utilization of the Shinobi once again, but unable to find any real consistent, reliable slow there. We've now got the Bogmaters coming out. I suspect there will be more of them that come out. He's up to 3 at the moment, so looking to try and mix it up a little bit. Villager going to go down. That's the first one of the game over on the stone mine. The stone outcropping. Plenty more units towards the middle. Have we got any potential leans at Castle Age at this stage? It doesn't really look like it at the 9-minute mark. No one interested that much. We do have the upgrade starting to come through. Horse training on the way. So that means that we have got the very first Daimyo estate, and that is going to be the cavalry estate. And this is a very powerful one. I do like this. I've been kind of like testing going into the ranged one for the Sengoku Daimyo. I don't know. I just don't feel it. I think the cavalry one's definitely the best because you've got such good upgrades in here. The first one is increased movement speed, right? And you're never going to complain about that. That obviously affects your mounted samurai as well. The second one is going to be your Yari cavalry getting extra damage against cavalry. So they become spearman cavalry, which is just another great upgrade, especially for feudal age. So if you can hit like a T2 Takeda clan Daimyo estate, that is absolutely just chef's kiss for the feudal age. And then finally, finally, when you hit the level 3, I mean, you've got a whole bunch of deflective armor for all your mounted samurai, inevitably, when you get there. So another powerful upgrade for them. So I think it's definitely worthwhile investing in with regard to cavalry. When you think about, like, the bonuses that you get for infantry, like, the infantry one's really cool. I don't know if you guys have seen this bug, by the way. There's an Imperial Age bug. I hope that we get a game where we can actually cast the bug with silk bowstrings. Oh my god, it's so sick. I saw it posted on Reddit, dude. It made me so excited. Basically, silk bowstrings adds range to ranged units. Okay, and there's an upgrade that you get from the Daimyo estate for infantry that gives your samurai, oh my god, speaking of samurai, well, speaking of shinobi right now, look at the slow together with the extra movement speed, 2.06 on these cavalry. Fortunately, he doesn't have that Yari bonus damage coming through for the anti-cav, and he gets another slow on him. Oh my lord, the grenades are just absolutely doing damage here. Sengoku Daimyo, I tell you what, this guy knows what he's doing with this civilization. I tell you what, I feel like I'm watching a master at work here, and look, he's up against Vortex, one of the best in the business, so you better bloody hope that he's pulling out every single trick in the book right now. He's definitely making me rethink the Ryokan. I can say that right now. Ryokan feels good because it's like you get 60 free population, but I tell you what, other than that, it just feels kind of meh. Whereas this Koka Township, he is doing work with it. Yeah, essentially, you're in the infantry daimyo estate. You've got a technology that allows your samurai to shoot a bow before they attack. So basically, they'll go pew, and then they'll go and attack with their sword. What the devs didn't realize is when they included silk bowstrings to affect that, they also included it to affect the melee weapon, which makes them look like Onabageisha on steroids, dude. These things are attacking like over the top of each other, killing the enemies. Oh, it's hilarious. The test that was run by the guy on Reddit had them up against the Holy Roman Empire with a whole bunch of crossbows and men-at-arms, and they just absolutely demolished the entire thing. And they're like Holy Roman Empire men-at-arms, which have got like the bonuses. But anyway, we got age ups coming through for both players. Both of them finding that nice little middle ground. System of the first hill coming up for Vortex. No surprises there. Sake Brewery on the other side of the map. Going to be going down for our Sengoku Daimyo player. Of course, these are all pretty stock standard for what you would expect here. Especially the system of the first hill. I'm a big fan of this landmark and the way that it works. And immediately we see that sploosh coming in. One of the cool things that you can actually do with the sploosh is because the way that it works is it provides a bonus to things like that. If you sploosh a lumber camp, it will give you additional wood, but it also increases the production rate for those buildings. So what you can do is you can sploosh a lumber camp and then research lumber preservation at the same time, and it's going to research it a lot faster than what it normally would. So this way, like, you're getting resources, and at the same time, you're utilizing that bonus production speed, which is pretty cool, because it's like, typically it's just one or the other, right? If you sploosh a Varangian stronghold, you're not going to be getting resources for it. And if you sploosh a farm, you're not going to be getting that ability to research something. Now, you can technically sploosh a mill. I don't know whether or not you get food from it. I suspect probably you would. But anyway, it's something that we'll have to talk about. Age ups come through on the other side. Sake Brewery, 5 villagers, going to be infinitely gathering the gold here and having a very good time. Falling away from this front line, we've got upgrades on the way through. Yari Cavalry getting its veterancy together with the Bogmayor. I still need to research how to pronounce that. We got the Adgermida down. Now we just got to get all the other unique Viking units down. Yeah, Viking, Macedonian. It's the same thing. Varangian units. Let's go with that. I'm sure Varangian probably means Viking. It probably doesn't, but anyway. Radari now on the other side of the map. Look at the villager kills. He's still whacking away there. Look at this Vill. So, manages to pick up 2. So we've lost 1 Vill on the stone and 2 Vills over on the berries. It definitely seems to be a bit of a weak spot here for our Sengoku Daimyo player. Veterancy about to arrive. Actually, I take it back. Veterancy has arrived for the Yari Cavalry, but no veterancy coming through just yet for Vortex. We're at the 14-minute mark, so let's switch it over to income per minute. Get a bit of an idea on where these two currently stand with regard to economies. We've got Sengoku Daimyo sitting at about 1.8, 1.9, and at the same time for Vortex over here, somewhere in that same region, because he does have the silver going for him as well. Yatai manages to survive on 33 health. You definitely need to get that back and repair. He's been relentless, this game, Vortex has, with these non-stop raids. But I tell you what, I'm still I'm confident in the Sengoku Daimyo and the defense. What do we see from him in the mid game? How does he look to play it out? Keep in mind, we've still only got that single, is it the Takeda clan? I want to say Takeda clan. Yeah, the Takeda clan. We've only got the single Takeda clan at this stage. So we don't have any of that, that extra bonus damage that the Yari cavalry typically have. I think it makes a lot of sense to be picking that up in the feudal age as well. If you can go into the double, it's obviously a little bit more expensive, but of course it can definitely be worth it. You can see, look how long that is it a Yari? Is that what it's called? No, it's just a spear, Drongo. That's a good old-fashioned spear, my friend. How are we doing on relics? Let's take a look and see. Both players picking up one each. We'll try and do our best to find exactly where they are. Elusive. Ever elusive. Okay, we got one at the back here. You can see the monk on his way out. Notoriously elusive. Second one. Oh, look at this. One of those cheeky old tricks. Now mounted samurai together with the Yari cavalry. Keep in mind they've got that extra movement speed. So 2.13 coming through on the charge. Not too bad. 1.79 base movement speed. Very, very nice here. More upgrades coming through. We're getting veterancy on our spearmen. And at the same time, Vortex just chilling out, going for the full cav combo. I mean, technically he's got 12 archers as well. So something to be aware of. But the main focus of his army here is definitely on this Macedonian cavalry. I tell you what, man, I'm loving this expansion pack so far. This is feeling really good. I'm going to get into some FFA a little bit later. I did see that people have requested that many a time. So we're gonna definitely dive into FFA. Obviously, Outback Octagon is coming back. If you haven't already, make sure you check it out. I'd flash it up on your screen, but we got ourselves a little bit of action right now, so we're not going to bother doing it. But, of course, you know where to see it. It's November 19, baby. We'll be there. Archers now going to do their best to try and tee off towards these spears, doing a wonderful job here. I'm not sure if the in-game sound is loud or whether my headset is loud, so I'm just going to leave the volume the way that it is right now. More reinforcements continue to rally in. Spearman number has really started to drop, and I think as long as you're making Mounted Samurai, you should be okay in this situation. I wonder who wins the matchup, the Mounted Samurai or the Radari? Because Radari's got some decent stats here. Keep in mind, it's also got those runestones that's going to help it out here. Slightly more damage on the Radari. In fact, the Radari do have higher base stats. And I suspect that may be because of the upgrades as well. In fact, he's only looking to get the tier 1 upgrades right now. So Radari actually goes hard, bro. I didn't realize this unit was 7 armor? 7 armor? In this economy? How are you affording 7 armor? And the craziest part is he's not even done yet. He's not even close to done yet. Has he picked up this isn't all the upgrades, is it? Surely that's not all the upgrades. Yeah, it's not all the upgrades. They don't have cav armor up here. What don't they have? I just realized. They've only got ranged unit armor, melee unit armor, ranged attack, and melee attack. They don't have the cavalry upgrades. Somebody contact the devs. This is unplayable. I've just realized. I mean, technically, shouldn't we be able to just fit them all on? Maybe you need to double stack them. Maybe that's the problem. Because what are we missing out on? We're missing cav attack, cav defense, and then we're missing these 2 upgrades as well. So, and they're kind of important, right? Like, you look up here and you don't see much, and then you look down here and you're like, oh, hold on, he's got +3. It doesn't cost olive oil, don't worry. We're just viewing it from the perspective of his enemy. So it looks like olive oil to them. But now, Archer number is really starting to build here. Radari also looking strong on the defense. Keep in mind, they have that ability to do the throw axes if they need to. And there they go, throwing off the axes. Not able to take out the Mounted Samurai with that last attack. He's going to try and get the range. What's the range on those bad boys, by the way? That throwing axe, 3.25 tiles of range. So quite a bit of range on them as well. And now, slowly making their way away from the opponent's base. We can see those shinobi with the grenades throwing off the runestone. Going to provide a little bit of assistance on the retreat here. But these guys have been non-stop at each other's throats this game. And in the end, the Mounted Samurai able to repel the opponent's army. Of course, a lot of it is archers. So while technically, yes, it looks scary on that military count at the top of your screen, the reality is it's not actually that scary. Now, what's going on with that villager count? You'll see 48 against 57, and it seems kind of crazy that there's that much difference. The Sengoku Daimyo shouldn't be up this much, so why is that? Why have we got such a high vill count here? Has Vortex just not been training villagers? If only there was a way for us to know, if only there was a way to check the idle TC time, that would be lovely to be able to see that, because right now we've got no idea. They've both killed 3 villagers. I don't see any traders on the map. I don't see a second TC on the map. I know for a fact that these Yatai aren't counted as economic units. So my question is, where did those villagers go? And why is Vortex behind by 9? Anyway, we'll worry about that another time, as the answer will undoubtedly not be within our not be within our realm for quite some time. Sprinkle in placement over on this eastern flank, and he's going to throw the axes, takes out the villagers. There's two. Does he get the third one? You can never know. Even though he makes it to the safety of the outpost, there's always the risk that he gets taken out. What's the damage on those axes? There's only 15 damage. It's not a huge amount of damage. I think they're especially good at raiding, right? Like if your enemies walled themselves in or something like that, you just pop the throwing axes and laugh at them as you murder the villagers. That's definitely one way to play it. We got raids on both sides of the map. Now, keep in mind, these unique archers have got access to a whole range of different upgrades. The first and foremost one is the fact that you've got the unwavering focus, which isn't technically an upgrade, it just comes on by default, but it's got that over the standard archer. We've also got the rune stone, and on top of that, we've got the ability, if we take a look here, to research a technology that is going to increase the amount of, or rather reduce the amount of damage. Actually, how should I say that? They have their damage reduced. Okay, that's the way to explain it. So if you get hit by a unit that is firing with their ruinous blinding, you're going to be doing less damage. So that 24 damage is going to go down probably in the region of about 20 damage, somewhere around there. So it definitely cuts quite a bit off the top, because you're going to be thinking about the fact that there's armor in play as well. So it might not seem like much, but if we're talking 27 damage before armor, and then after armor, which we've got 7, so what are we down? From 27 down to 20, and then we're cutting another 4 or another 5 off that. Like, you're talking about a 20-25% reduction in the overall damage that you're taking, which is it's a pretty decent chunk of damage that is effectively cancelled out. So definitely something to be considering. And now let's take a look and see. He's not going to use that unwavering focus at the moment. You do lose a little bit of movement speed when that happens, and we got ourselves some roller skates down the hill here, as unfortunately the Daimyo together with the mounted samurai do get chased out by a large group here. He's been very good in just playing whack-a-mole with all these troops, but at the end of the day, that villager count continues to fall, and Vortex looks like he could be in a little bit of trouble here, a bit of an upset potentially in this game right now. The Sengoku Daimyo looking very strong as the raids have just gone absolutely wild. You know, we talk about the Radari as a ridiculous raiding unit, well, of course, other units often get left to the side. The mounted samurai is always a powerhouse, though. Anyway, military numbers are building for Vortex, and this is something to be cautious of. You know, we were talking about the fact that with this civilization, we've got these archers, and yeah, we don't really need to be scared of the archers, but the archers still do pack a punch. They also reduce or ignore that to armor as well. So you think about these units as an example. Up against the mounted samurai, that's only 4 armor that you're dealing with here, with doing 9 damage. So you're going from essentially from 3 damage up to 5 damage, which is a huge boost in your effective damage. It doesn't seem like much, but it definitely makes a huge difference, because you will effectively start one-shotting these units when you get closer to that damage point. Is it one-shotting? How many are we talking? 35 times 5, so you're talking about 175 damage. We got 241 health, so yeah, you'd probably need a few more archers before you actually start the one-shotting, but you're doing a lot more effective damage. That is the reality. Now Vortex. I think at this stage, with Vortex having lost all of the, well, not all of the villagers, he's lost a lot of villagers, he knows what he needs to do. And at this stage of the game, that is go all in. That is the best thing that he can do right now. From the Sengoku Daimyo perspective, the best thing he can do is probably put down a keep or something that he knows that it's going to delay his opponent here. But we can see all of these reinforcements just kind of getting picked off as they trickle in. More units coming in. Big mistake here from our Sengoku Daimyo player. Definitely not the right call. He needed to wait for all of his army to come back here, and you can see he's got more units in the enemy base. Definitely taking a preemptive fight here. More and more units starting to come out. We've got runestones that have been thrown down. Vortex doing a wonderful job here. One thing to note, we don't have any siege here. So even if he beats back this army, it's going to take a while for him to actually start killing bases. But if he just goes straight for the villagers, he's not going to have to worry too much about it. And I think we've just witnessed a single mistake potentially costing the game right now for the Sengoku Daimyo. How does he come back from this? Because all he needed to do, and you can see right back in the base here, he's kind of getting cleaned up. We've got the spearmen together with the mounted samurai, but if these units had been back home, he would have been able to mount a much more significant defense, and he was just kind of getting picked apart. And it's crazy to think that you can play 23 minutes perfectly, and then Vortex somehow just finds a way to force a fight, and you kind of drop your marbles and scramble as you do your best to defend. We've got a food trader that's coming out here, and now he's hunting for villagers, and he knows exactly where to go. He heads over to the large gold vein, makes his way across here. How are we doing on upgrades, by the way? Has he picked up his 4s? Not just yet. There's no way for us to know without clicking on that Varangian arsenal. Excuse me, Venetian arsenal. Venetian arsenal is real, if I remember correctly. Civ 6? Civ 6, you build it adjacent to a coast or on a coastal tile, and you get a second warship every time you build a warship. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Anyway, there you go. I'm crossing my wires a little bit. Numbers are starting to build back up here for the Sengoku Daimyo. Where did those villagers escape to? Now, he lost quite a bit, but you can see he is definitely on the run here. He's got a secret forge that's coming out. Needs to be cautious about this position. Still the only the tier 1 clans for him at this stage, and now continuing to push into the middle. He's outnumbered by about 2 to 1 at this stage of the game. 29 military pop against the 66. So definitely a bit of an uphill battle here as the Radari make their way down the mountainside. And look for any of those units they can potentially pick off. Meanwhile, Vortex adds in another upgrade. You can see he's going for cav attack here. Now at the 25-minute mark, he looks to try and start another fight. Runestone gets thrown down on the backside. He's just taps it down with a single archer. It's instant build. Shinobi from the top side going to look to try and provide a bit of AoE damage together as a nice little slow. But the numbers are looking good here for our Sengoku Daimyo on the offense. The only thing is, he's going to have to cut through these troops with his front line. If the front line falls, he's going to have a tough time, and indeed that front line is falling. Beautiful micro coming out from Vortex. Once again, as he focuses down the back line, Sengoku Daimyo down to 7 military population here. Things are going from bad to worse for him, and you can see the archers looking to try and cut through. They've got no unwavering focus available anymore, so it's a little bit harder for them to hit through that armor of his opponent. Now Vortex, once again, has the reign of the battlefield. 45 military population against 5. How does he look to play it from here? I feel like the key that I mean, you could play into Imperial Age here, I think would work very effectively, just going up to Imp, because you've got a huge army advantage, so that's one way that you could do it, but this is Vortex we're talking about. He's probably just going to double down, he's just going to go into the base, he's going to keep rallying units the exact same way that we've seen him do a million times before, and now underneath the town center of the enemy, the unwavering focus gets popped, and with that he's able to cut through this thick armor of these mounted samurai. You can see just how much damage it does. It's ridiculous compared to what it was doing before. Oh, and he's one-shotting the backline. The Takanoshima Ashigaru is just going down. And underneath the town center, the Yatai will go. And with that will go the game. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Make sure you check him out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him live. He takes another one and adds... Well, he's got so many skulls at this point in time. He just keeps throwing them on the pile. Anyway, make sure you check out Outback Octagon. It's coming back 19th of November.